Welcome to CBR Profiles. I'm Pam Minnick. Today we're heading to Springtown, Texas to meet bull rider Colt Munden. Like most bull riders, Colt Munden is competitive by nature and followed a family tradition into the world of rodeo. But it wasn't until a friendly little competition with his older brother Ty and friends that he found his niche in bull riding.
Well, I grew up around bull riding. I guess I'm from kind of a bull riding family there, and I guess it kind of helps because they can kind of show you some shortcuts in bull riding to get you through the humps instead of just having to figure it out all on your own.
I have 3 wonderful kids, a daughter, Tanya, Ty, and Colt.
Me and my brothers always competed, and we rode horses since we were old enough to walk. After school or whatever, we'd go out and just ride horses and stuff, and we even competed in team pinning.
When Ty and Tanya was younger, it seemed like I had to work quite a bit. When Colt finally came along, my business established enough where I could take some time and do a lot more things with him. And he went with me a lot. You know, we got to be really good buddies.
Colt and I first met when we were younger. We probably saw each other in diapers, but don't remember, you know. Kobe
Yates, he's just like one of our kids. He's been around ever since he was 2 years old. So, God, back then they'd be spending the night with one another, and you'd hear something banging, and you'd go in there, and here they are. They got a pillow tied to one of them's back, and they're on each other riding in there, you know. And that's all they did.
I remember we used to ride bikes down the street. We lived right around the corner from each other, so we used to ride our bicycles. We'd go catch crawdads in the creek behind his house down there.
Those two are 2 peas in a pod, I tell you what. You can tell they're best friends, dude. They're a lot the same, except Colt's a little bit quieter.
We just did whatever, kind of hung out, went around doing different stuff. I was always fighting, he was always watching.
For 2 people to stay friends as long as they have, that tells you they just got along so good with each other that you never see one without the other. Me and Coach Mom feels a lot better when they're together because we know one's with the other and they're taking care of each other.
I've never met anybody like Colt. He's down to earth, sincere about everybody. He's so friendly to everybody. I've never met a person who, I don't think he dislikes anybody. Just a likable person, you know. Of course, he comes from a likable family. He's always been competitive in everything that he does. If he doesn't like to lose, but he's not a bad sport about it.
There's been times, yes sir, that it's been frustrating, you know, and think, shoot, why am I even beating myself up and doing this? But it only usually takes one ride to pump you back up and think, you know, yeah, I can do this, and I am going to do this, because there's not a greater feeling in the world than go 90 points or whatever. It's like hitting a grand slam, I'm sure, you know, in baseball. There was only like 5 rodeos left, and I think you had to go to 6 rodeos to make their finals. Well, I started going to their 5 rodeos. Well, I rode enough steers to make the finals, but I didn't go to enough rodeos, and was riding good. Well, my brother had made the finals there, the Pro Youth Finals in the calf roping. So I was there watching and wishing I was riding there, and
we had a jackpot after the finals, and Colt, you know, we taught Colt to get in.
I didn't have none of my stuff there. I borrowed everybody's stuff. I think I borrowed even riding boots. So
I think Colt drew the rankest one. Nobody had ever rode this. It was a heifer that nobody had ever rode before. And Colt gets on this heifer, and I mean, just sticks it all over.
Dude, I remember everybody was throwing their hat in there before I got off my bull.
They marked him like 90 points. And I rode mine was 87 on mine, and he won first and I won second. I think there was more money in the pot, in the jackpot, than there was in the regular finals.
I think from then on, really, it just hit me, you know, I can do this. I'm made to do it, and so the next year it hit off from there, and I really went to riding good, winning. I was in Huron, South Dakota, and I drew a bull, and I didn't know nothing about him. It was 1X1 pepper popper is what they called him, and I was sitting in in the locker room there, stock contractor kind of pat me on the back and he said, "Hey Colt, what bull you got?" And I just said 1X Pepper Popper, and he was like, "Oh man," he goes, "that's a really good bull." They showed me the film of the bull, and I remember sitting there watching that bull. I can't wait to get on this bull, you know.
All right, let's go with Colt Munden, Springtown, Texas. Look at this. Pepper Popper. Pop the pepper.
He was a good bull. He jumped out there a couple and spun into my hand, which is to the right, and just really fast and really good bull. And I remember jumping off, and it was being the highest mark I've ever had.
I have some very important news. 93 points. 93.
I won the round there at Huron, South Dakota at the CBR. It's a good bull.
We'll be back with more CBR profiles right after these messages. Stay with us.
You know, there's not a time that he doesn't crawl down on one that I'm not, you know, I'm not nervous and worried about it.
After watching CBR bull rider Colt Munden ride Pepper Popper for a whopping 93 points, you might think the word try comes easy to him. Well, as he tells us, he had to learn it old school.
All right, let's go with Colt Munden, Springtown, Texas. Look at this. Pepper Popper. Pop the pepper.
We had got a bucking machine and had it there at the house, and so Colt got on it. And he didn't have any fear of it because it was just a machine, and the kid could ride. He'd been riding horses and so long. He was really good at it, and he just was pretty natural at it. And so we started they'd have the jackpots, we'd put him in it. Well, he could beat the high school kids.
My first ride was kind of embarrassing, I guess. Well, I got in the chute there, and my dad's pulling my rope, telling me to try, and he's probably thinking I'm going to win first, you know. And here I am. I'm just thinking, well, what have I got into, you know?
His mind just went somewhere else because he got on something that was a real animal with horns and breathing and stuff. And when it jumped out there, you know, his mind was somewhere else but riding.
I don't know if all the excitement, the horns, everything got me all riled up, but I remember I got in there and didn't try a lick. And about the first jump, I fell off, and the steer stepped on my ear. And
I just wanted him to learn a lesson. I wanted him, not that he got hurt, but I didn't want him ever riding again until he could really try hard. Because as long as you're trying and you're trying hard, you're in somewhat control.
In soccer, I was pretty young then, and I think that's where I learned the true meaning of try.
When those little kids played soccer, it was just whoever could get that ball to that goal, you know. And he was always so little and fast, and he would run and he'd just get so tired that he couldn't. And I'd just tell him, I'd say, just dig down and suck it up and just try hard, Colt, try. You can pull it out, you can do it.
That side stitch I used to think was try, and I'd dig down there deep and grab it and just keep going harder, you know. And I think that really taught me how to try then, and that's what's helped me so much, you know, to try so hard in bull riding, you know. My dad was actually getting on some bulls, and he was entering some rodeos with Colby's dad. And we were at the practice pen one day, and I brought my stuff. I just threw it in, probably snuck it in the back of the truck or whatever. And Colby was there. He was getting on, and I was there, and I kept begging my dad, well, please let me get on, you know, please let me get on.
I wouldn't let him, you know, and I just said, no, you don't try. You know, that's the way I would do it. I said, you don't need to ride, you don't try. And he was just almost crying. He wanted to ride so bad. He said, I'll try, Dad, I'll try. So I told him, I said, you don't go up that buck and shoot unless you try as hard as you can. And
I said, I promise, yes, sir, I will. And I went down there, and I don't think he could have pried me off with a stick there off that bull. It
was like he was just, you know, he was just trying so hard, and he rode really good. Then he had it in him to do it, and he had to try, so that's when really it kind of all started. Colt excelled at an early age of riding. When he first started in the steers and in the pee-wee bulls and stuff like that, he really did well. But he got hurt when he was about 15, and that was a setback for him coming back from that. But it was also a learning part for him because he had to overcome fears of when he came back of being hurt at an early age like that, and it was tough for him.
Keep your seat. We'll be back with more CBR profiles in a minute.